Welcome to a special edition of Meadville-Meadville. I'm Dwayne Kohler, and we are joined today by Sergeant Vince Trenga from the Meadville City Police Department, Public Safety. So let me ask you just general, what does that mean? And tell us about you too. Give us your history.
I've been a police officer now in Meadville for over 20 years. Currently the school safety officer, sergeant at that position, and I supervise 16 crossing guards. Well, actually, there's 16 corners. Okay. Then I go to 6 elementary schools, and it comes out to about 74 classes that I visit, and about 1,300 students.
So what's the nature of the visit? I remember a first grader myself a long time ago having that visit from the safety officer from the school. So what goes on with that?
Each month there's a different topic, different safety topic, and each classroom that I go into I speak for 20 minutes each. And like I said, there's a different topic every month. The month of April, I do talk to 5th and 6th graders. I teach health class for 45 minutes to all of them. There's about 30 classes there. But for the most part, it's kindergarten through 4th grade, and it's in and out of the 6 elementary schools that we have in our area, Crawford Central plus Seton School.
I also remember back at, I think I was in 4th grade, so this would have been like 1968 or something like that. But I was this is kind of a weird story, but this was the first time I was ever involved with any local media. That they used to have a summer program where you'd bring your bike up to the school. I went to Neeson Hill School, and they would check the brakes and check and see if you had the ability to stay on it and not fall off. And this was way before helmets and all that kind of stuff. But so I was asked to be the kid to introduce the thing on the local radio channel. Yeah, so literally my first time ever working with media was related to this topic. But what do you do with kids and bikes and safety and all that kind of stuff whenever warm weather's coming?
Yeah, bike safety is actually one of the more popular topics, because I dedicate a month to that, as well as the health fair at the Meadville Medical Center. We do 2 days of all the 3rd grade in the school district, and it concentrates on bike safety, checking over the equipment. Basically, I tell them, take care of the bike take care of you, helmet laws, different do's and don'ts as far as when you're riding your bike.
I know the kids love that. You talk to kids now that are graduating from high school. They remember that clearly from when they had gone themselves as a 3rd grader. But their favorite part of that visit is climbing around in your car, and the talk about the helmets, and of course the fire department has a smokehouse there, and they climb around that. They get to climb around an ambulance, and they hear from lots of other professionals. But that's their favorite part of the thing.
Yeah, and I let them go crazy, and I tell them, we don't have anything in there that really can't get broke. The radio's off. Well, it's supposed to be. One time a kid figured out how to turn it on. He got on the mic and started yelling, and the other officers were out on the street, and they were kind of in a panic, wondering who was in trouble. And but yeah, I tell the kids, I said, you can jump in the back seat. It's hard plastic. There's bars on the windows. Jump in the back seat, get in the front seat, just have fun. I leave the doors open. I make sure I stress, don't shut the doors, because I don't want anybody's fingers to get smashed.
To me, our medicine and Meadville topics have always been kind of medical and health related. To me, the thing that maybe to plant in those kids' minds is, let's not have an accident. Let's not have, if we can prevent something, and that's what this is all about, right?
Yeah, and I purchased silicone bracelets. Got 300 of them. It was the first time it's ever been done. So I got 300, thinking that was going to be plenty. And I just had a little saying put on it: bike safe, bike smart, MCPD. And I put maybe like 50 of them in a Ziploc baggie in every cruiser, so police officers that are on patrol could pass them out to the children they see out and about. And that was one of the things I said: if I see you guys on a bike while you're wearing a helmet, I'll give you a bracelet. I give them all bracelets, even if they're not wearing a helmet, but I just have a little extra conversation with the ones that are not wearing a helmet.
I remember going with my bike up to Neeson Hill School to have that safety check back a million times. It was, we're going to check the pressure in the tires, we're going to check and make sure your brakes work, and then we're going to have you ride a little bit and see how see how steady you are. And so on.
Making sure the chain's lubricated. And another thing a lot of people don't know about that I tell the kids, if they need a helmet for whatever reason, they can get a hold of me, and there's a program that the fire department actually found that we can get them helmets, and I can fit them for the helmets.
Now, as an observer for the Children's Health Fair at the hospital there for many years, once you fall on and you bang that helmet on something, I mean, we need a new one, right? At that point,
yes.
So it did its job, and it's supposed to crack to have you not crack. Right?
Yeah, it absorbs the impact. I've replaced my kids probably 3 times, not because they fell, but my dog gets a hold of them. It's a chew toy, so yeah, he literally, I don't know what it is with helmets, but he destroys them. And the boys, my 2 kids, they just leave them laying around where he can get them, and so I have to go out and buy them new helmets. They're not cheap, and that's why I said if someone's struggling financially for whatever reason, I will be able to get some helmets and get them fitted.
Stick with kids for a second. So we're coming up here on back to school time. So what are the messages to get out there about back to school safety?
Probably the biggest thing is school buses. Just what to do when a bus is approaching you, whether you're approaching a bus from behind or coming at a bus. If you see its yellow lights start to flash, let's slow down, and just to anticipate that the red lights are going to come on, the stop sign is going to come on, the arm's going to extend. So we have to stop 10 feet behind the bus and approaching. The only time you do not have to stop for a bus is if there's an actual physical barrier and you're coming at it.
Okay, so on Route 322, there's no physical barrier in lots of that road. Right. There are in some places, but they're not. So even if you're on the opposite lane, you stop, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, so I remember a case here about 2 years ago, maybe, that was it Albion or someplace, where someone didn't stop, and there was a child that was. Anyways, that's a real thing. I mean, that's.
And the school bus drivers, they're real good about. They know the first thing they do is try and get a description of the vehicle, license plate. Then they make a phone call to me to do the investigation, and I follow up on it, and we cite them if we see deemed.
Okay, so yes, kids are waiting for the bus and all that kind of stuff. Also, I mean, parents, we want to get our kids safely to where they're getting picked up for the bus and to get them to school and so on. I go past First District School, every day, and it's quite a different process when it's leaving school or entering school time as it is the whole rest of the day. Right. When those lights are blinking in front of the school, that means the normal 35 speed limit is now 15, right? 15. Yes. So is that thing on a preset timer like a street light is? Or?
It is. It's programmed for school hours, and it's just in front of First District and Second District. So it's actually 25 miles per hour through there.
25. Okay.
Any other time.
But now that's the law. I mean, as I'm going through. Okay.
And then just if you're a motorist and you're driving, if you see crossing guards or playgrounds or schools, maybe to be a little bit more extra cautious because there
might be a ball rolling out in front of me and a kid chasing that ball, right?
Just parked cars. Kids don't know any better that they could dart out into the street between a parked car, and you don't see them.
Is that part of the talk that you give when you're visiting the schools?
And just to kind of let them know, not pay a little, be a little bit more careful, I guess, when it comes to the roadway.
Let me switch gears for a second here. Hot car situation. I mean, we're coming to the end, but we still have a few months where we're going to have some hot car situations. Let's say I pull into a restaurant and there's a child or maybe there's a pet or whatever in a car and it looks like it's struggling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What's the rules about that? I mean, I've heard things have changed recently about that.
Yeah, they pretty much open it up and have said that if you see a child in a car with the windows rolled up on a hot day, go ahead and break the window. You don't have to call us first, but it's basically, use your best judgment, common sense. Any reasonable person would believe that a child is in danger if it's a hot day and the windows are up.
I remember a case on the news here, I think it's been a couple of years ago now, but the parent forgot the kid. They were, they had switched schedules and dad was dropping them off instead of wife dropping them off at the daycare or whatever, and dad forgot the kid was in the car, wow. Is there any advice we can give, so something like that would never happen?
I can't personally fathom, forgetting my child in the car. I know we're busy. There's a lot of distractions. So, it does happen. yeah, I don't know, as far as you know, just kind of slowing down in life and just realizing you have your little one in the back seat. And we get a lot of dog calls. You know, I personally have never got a call for a child that's been possible in heat danger, but we get flooded with people calling about dogs.
So the law changed recently about that, right? I mean, this has just been in the last couple of years.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
now okay.
If not just, you know, even
Well, I'd
more
say
recent.
that's a good thing, just to put it on people's, you know, just to put it in the back of their mind.
Yeah.
That, don't take your dog. You know that yes, the dog wants to go with you all the time, but you know
Right.
I have dogs in my house too. And the same thing. It's like you walk to the door and they're running over. Are we going? Are we going
Right.
someplace? Let's go. Let's go. Open the back door of the truck and they're like flying to get in there. You know they can't wait to go out and run around a woodcock or whatever. You know that kind of thing. But if you're just going to the store, just let them stay at home. They're going to be safer. You mentioned to me before we started today a new program. What's it called? Cops?
Shop with a Cop.
Shop with a cop?
Shop with a
What's
Cop.
that? What's
It's
that?
actually not a new program. I believe it goes back as far as 14 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so all I can hope to do is fill the shoes from the officers that, you know, were before me, which I've had some big shoes to fill. There was like, just to get off topic real quick about the guys that I'm kind of following. I always hear about Johnny Foster, Nick Hoke, Gary Rogers, and our chief now, Mike Totten. So they did an excellent job, and I can only hope to be as good as them. They did it a long time, and I plan on doing it a long time as well. But to talk about Shop with a Cop, because they did that. You know, maybe not Johnny Foster, but Gary, Nick, and Mike both did it. They all did it, and so we take 30 children, and I first apply for a $2,500 grant through Walmart, and I've already been granted that, and typically our union, our lodge, the city lodge, kicks in $250, and typically the county lodge, the county FOP kicks in $250 to give us $3,000. So between the principals and the guidance counselors from all the elementary schools in the area, they pick children that, like, they may be going through difficult times, struggling for whatever reason, maybe layoffs or illness, something of that nature. So we get 30 kids, and we get as many police officers as possible. Typically it's a 1-to-1. And last year, I believe it was 2 children for every police officer. We take them to dinner, and then we give them each $100, and we just give them free reign of Walmart. And we just, it's the most absolute pleasure and joy just to see, you know, you're making that kid's holiday. And they not only are they happy and excited, but the police officers, you know, feel a lot of satisfaction just to be able to do that for them.
That's wonderful. Now, again, that's really, I said to you, that's a new program, because I hadn't heard of it. You know, and it's, wow, that's an awesome thing.
And to make it even better, I had a motorcycle organization get a hold of me back in March, and they're called Brothers of the Trowel. And they wanted to, they're from the area, from Meadville, and they wanted to basically do a benefit run, a motorcycle run, which happened last week. And they ended up donating, based on the proceeds, the registrations of all the bikes. They didn't know, it was the first time that ever happened. They ever got together, so they didn't know if they were going to have 10 or 20 bikes. They ended up having 50.
Wow.
And then some other donations on top of that. So they ended up presenting me with $1,000 to go towards Shop with a Cop. So
that's awesome.
That gets 10 more children into the program. So 40 kids this year at Christmas time.
Let me ask you a bigger picture question about that sort of idea. People in general, their relationship with their local police department. I'm I'm thinking of NFL games coming up, and we're going to take a knee, and all this kind of stuff, and this anti-cop thing. I don't know where that comes from exactly. Now, granted, I know I've grown up in a way where that's not been an issue. None of those things have been an issue for me. But to me, who do we have? I mean, who is there to respect more than your first responders? And I'm thinking of 9/11. We're all taught as kids, if there's a fire, if there's, get out, not run away, but I mean, but get away from the danger. Who's running to the danger? I mean, it's our police, it's our fire department, it's our military people that run it to. Those are people that we need to be given respect to, not the other way around. And to me, that's a real. I don't get the opposite of that. I don't see where that comes from. This kind of a program seems to be a way to build that up. I mean, am I looking at that right?
Oh, absolutely. And I struggle with that issue, being a diehard Steeler fan. It's sad. I just posted a picture on social media last week, and it was me standing in uniform and my 6-year-old son looking up at me, and he wants to be a police officer really bad. And I'm like, do I discourage him because it's not, the best time to be a police officer? Unfortunately, there's a lot of pride, and there's almost 1 million police officers in this country, and yes, there are a few bad apples, and I don't support them. If they make a bad decision, they have to pay for there's consequences. But that picture I posted of my son, I hashtagged he'll understand one day, and not the enemy. I hate that we can be perceived that way, and I've been kind of going above and beyond to talk to people a little bit more, and just to, be that officer, that that influence, that positive influence, and kind of maybe when they go home at night and people are talking bad about us, that they talk about a good encounter that they just had with me or something.
Well, to me, for down the road, I'm as a role model thing. Your son. That's awesome. That's awesome. What better thing can there be for someone whose job is to protect everybody else's safety? I don't get I'm going to take a knee over that. And then a Steelers player who happened to have been a veteran himself and a combat veteran himself ignored the team's rule about just stay out of it, don't walk out on the field. He walked out in the field, and man, my respect for that guy went up.
I went and bought his jersey the following week. I just it's I don't know. I just, all we can do is keep plugging away, and hope people maybe come around. But that's one of the things I enjoy about this position I have with the elementary kids. They all still love police. Their faces light up. As soon as I walk into the classroom, and it makes me feel good too as well.
Well, let me just say this. I'm not claiming to be representative of the world here, but the silent majority of folks out there, I'm just going to stay out of it, are absolutely in support of our police officers out there. And we got a couple loudmouths, on the other side. Okay, help yourself, talk your head off. But I think the vast majority of folks around understand what you're doing and the risk that you're at, and how you're out there helping us out. So is everybody happy if they went too fast and they got a speeding ticket? No, they're not happy about that. But okay, hey, there's a sign there that says go 35, and if you're going 45 or whatever. So
True.
Okay, did we miss anything? Are there other things going on that you'd like folks to hear about?
Can't think of anything. No, just to reiterate, if you have a child that needs a helmet, you get a hold of me at the Meadville City Police Department. Other than that, I can't say no to things. I had a lady contact me about getting some police officers to play a basketball game with kids down 2nd District. So we put that together, and we had a blast. We just, again, it's just trying to do more positive things in the community to maybe help people look at us in a different light, just to do it whatever we can. But I'm always willing, if you want to run something by me, like I said, I have a hard time saying no. So I like to do whatever I can when I can.
Well, I think things are on a good track now. I think things are heading in a positive direction. Well, Sergeant Trenga, thank you for being with us today.
I appreciate it very much.
We've got a health tip for you. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Terry Ray Anthony from AAA East Central. I'm a safety advisor, and I have your health tip for today, and that is that you should check your car seat to see when it expires. A lot of people don't know that there is an expiration date. For most seats, it's 6 years, some a little longer. You can check your car seat owner's manual and look for the label on the seat that tells you that the year of the seat is manufactured. And that's your health tip for today.
Well, thanks for the health tip. We always appreciate those, and thanks, Sergeant Trenga, for the talk today. Great topics, and I think, like everyone else, I have great respect for our police officers and our first responders, the fire department, those military folks out there who are doing great things for us all the time, but most of the time behind the scenes. Okay, nothing lasts forever. And this is, I'm sorry to announce, the last episode of Medicine in Meadville. We've been at this now for almost 20 years. I think it's about 19 and some change. Started back in the year 2000 and started as a radio show with WMGW. So thank you for all the folks over there for getting that off the ground. And it was no time at all till we started adding those interviews on here on Armstrong on our cable channel, and just some phenomenal memories. I remember on September 11th, on September 12th, we had scheduled to have Medicine in Meadville that day, and we were talking about dealing with stress, and we had a psychologist there. All the folks who have helped me, Keith Allen Austin for one at the radio station, and co-hosts with me, Jane Livingston and Beth Atwell, Danielle Baslak, I appreciate it, Jackie Lesher certainly, and all those who have helped with filming and all those things. It's been a wonderful topic. Things don't last forever, and it's time for a change, and certainly appreciate all those folks who have watched us, and we think it's somewhere around 700 shows over the years, and I can't get to the grocery store without someone talking to me about a Medicine in Meadville topic. So thank you for watching out there, and we appreciate that, and we'll talk to you again.